Hello and welcome to the Retirement Planning Podcast, your trusted source for navigating the path to a secure retirement. Your host and guide on this journey towards financial peace of mind is Darrin McComas. On this show, we'll delve into everything you need to know about retirement planning, from investment strategies and risk management to maximizing your Social Security benefits and crafting a resilient financial plan using the bucket plan financial process. Join me as we bring you insights from top financial experts, share stories of successful retirement journeys, and provide practical tips to help you build and preserve your wealth. Let's embark on this adventure together as we strive towards a future where retirement isn't just a dream, but a well-planned reality.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Retirement Planning Podcast. My name is Darrin McComas. I'm the financial advisor and owner of Evergreen Wealth Advisor, and this is Jason Fox, my assistant. And today's episode is about our design meeting, which is step number 2 in our holistic planning process. Last time we talked about the discovery meeting, which is that first official meeting in our office. In that meeting, just to recap that, if you haven't watched that episode, that discovery meeting is just a chance for us to get to know each other a little bit better, to see if we're a good fit for each other.
Yeah, that first chance to really dive into the particulars of your situation.
Yeah. And then if we feel like we're a good fit and, hey, we want to move forward, then we go on to this design meeting, which is step 2, a separate meeting. And this is where we start to lay that foundation of a true holistic wealth management plan. And we use that bucket plan system. We start off the design meeting reviewing that concerns and priorities worksheet that we finished the discovery meeting with. We start there because we really want to focus our planning efforts on the things that are most important to you. Those things that you identified as ones on that concerns and priorities worksheet is where we're going to start our financial planning efforts with.
Absolutely. And it allows us basically to put our heads together and do what we do best, which is to go in and be analytical and to use the tools that we have available to plug in the details of your situation and figure out exactly what puzzle pieces we need and exactly where they need to be laid out so that it will come together and form the basis and the framework for your plan.
Yeah. Your plan, that's a great phrase, because we come into these with a completely blank slate, no preconceived notions of anything, and you're going to get a completely customized financial plan just for you. We don't do cookie cutter around here, and I think that's one big differentiator over a lot of firms that just want to sell products or just give you solutions that they've always used with all their clients.
Yeah, that's typically they have 3, 4, 5 products, whatever they have, and they try to put you in whichever of those is best suited to your situation. And like Darrin said, here we're starting with that blank slate, no preconceived ideas, and then listening to your wants and needs, and then going through that and making sure that you get exactly what it is that you had in mind when you came into this office.
I think it's where we were talking with a lady yesterday in her office, and we told her it's your money, it's your plan. We're here to help and to guide and give our expertise, but at the end of the day, it's all about you. And if you're meeting with someone or your current advisor or whoever you're working with, it's all about them and their products, and they're leading with products instead of a plan. I think it's definitely time for a second opinion, and working with the fiduciary will definitely help. All right, so the next thing we go over in the design meeting is we educate everyone on the pyramid of risk. And as you can see on this graphic, if you're watching this on YouTube, we tend to start at the very top of the pyramid and work our way down. This is a tool that we use to gauge your experience, your knowledge of the various tools that are out there for us to use in the plan, and also to get your risk tolerance. How much risk are you willing to take on?
And again, everyone's different. We had a customer in yesterday. She's 77 years old, and she's like, hey, I have a high risk tolerance, and that wouldn't be typical. Usually 77-year-olds are going to want to pare down that risk a little bit, but again, it depends on each individual and their situation and what it is they're wanting to accomplish, right?
Absolutely. Again, no cookie cutter here. Real quick, we're just going to go through this in a very overview, general setting. We do a much deeper dive in this design meeting, but the pyramid of risk right at the top here are the highest risk, highest reward, but also you'll have a very high chance that you might lose some money when things don't go your way. So alternatives could be REITs could fall in there, crypto, things like that are outside the mainstream investment tools. Individual stocks, why we love individual stocks and bonds. We're talking about specifically highly concentrated positions.
You were telling me a story just the other day about a guy with a big position in Tesla, right?
Yes, he came to us a couple years ago, was a big believer in Tesla, took his whole IRA, I believe over $1 million, invested in just that one stock. Now, if you look at where Tesla is today, it's about half as much as it was back then. So that is that risk reward, and sometimes it doesn't work.
And Tesla might recover, but it might not. And that's the risk you take if you put all your eggs in one basket.
Absolutely. Then that middle section, we're going a little bit lower on the risk spectrum. We're talking about stock funds, index funds. A lot of you are probably familiar with the S&P 500.
Sure.
There's a lot of funds, ETFs, and mutual funds that will track these various indices.
Yeah, they just blanket your Googles and your Apples and your Teslas together and then give you a bucket of companies.
Instead of having to go out and buy those individual positions yourself, you can buy an ETF or mutual fund that has a lot of those companies in it. We tend to stay away from variable annuities, variable life products with the clients that we serve, most of which are heading off into retirement, and we don't feel those things are suitable for most of our clients. The lowest rung there would be low risk to no risk kind of products. Could be money sitting in your savings, CDs, money market funds, government bonds, government treasuries.
Annuities can fall in that category.
These are some of the tools that we have available, and this pyramid of risk and having a great conversation with you is going to really give us an idea of what kind of investments and tools should we use in your plan. So once we get done with the pyramid of risk, then we really start to input some basic information into our financial planning software, which is eMoney. A lot of times we'll have this already preloaded before you come in. We just want to make sure that we have a crystal clear picture of your net worth.
Yeah, and this is an opportunity to go through and confirm what we've done on the front end of that in terms of putting the information in there. Obviously, we've talked about your concerns and your priorities and all of that. And so we've tried to enter that information in to the best of our knowledge, but we want to go through and confirm that this does line up with what you had in mind.
Absolutely. Sometimes clients will forget, oh, I forgot about this CD I had here, or this piece of property over here. And just the more accurate numbers we put into eMoney, the better the projections and the discussions are around that. And it's I love eMoney. It's a fantastic tool. It's one of the top financial planning software in our industry. And we're also going to talk about spending. What is your spending today, and what do you plan for it to look like in the future, maybe when you hit retirement? Those are some very crucial numbers to have, and the more accurate information, again, the better the charts and graphs and discussion.
Absolutely. Even a little thing gets off, like an estimate, $100, but it's really $120. That's not a big deal this month, but 10 years from now, those numbers can really get skewed if they're not accurate.
Yeah, absolutely. And that gives us an idea too of how much can we be spending, right? How can we stretch your retirement assets out over your lifetime to make sure we're never going to run out of money?
Yeah, get that projection in place so we know exactly what we're dealing with.
Yeah. And then we also, towards the end of our design meeting, we go through a volatility tolerance analysis, a risk analysis. And when we do this, we're really focusing on the soon and the later bucket, right? Because the now bucket is safe, it's liquid, it's really not exposed to risk at all. The soon and later bucket, this is where I love the volatility tolerance because it has separate questions for each one of those buckets. And it's so critical. It's so different than what everyone else is using. You go to a lot of other firms out there, a lot of other advisors, and they're just giving you a very generic risk questionnaire where they're assuming all your eggs are going to be in one basket.
Right. That's the first assumption that's wrong, right? Like it, obviously, to get into the bucket plan and to be able to have those different buckets is precisely what allows you to give your money an opportunity to grow over the long term.
Absolutely. So There's a separate set of questions for that later bucket. That's that bucket where you're not going to need to touch those funds for probably over 10 years or more.
Right.
It might be never you touch that, and that's your legacy planning to leave behind for your spouse or for your kids, grandkids. So we should have a different risk profile for that bucket. Then for the soon bucket, which you're going to need access to within 10 years, that bucket tends to be much more conservative. We still want to get good growth. We still want to
outpace inflation.
But it has to be, we don't want that soon bucket to take a huge market hit, right? And then have to sell when positions are down because we need to take a required minimum distribution, or we just need monthly income. And selling positions at a loss, you're going to lock in that loss permanently. And that's what tends to lead to not so great results in retirement when you're forced to sell positions that are down. So once we get through the volatility tolerance analysis, then we just wrap up the meeting. We collect any statements, Social Security projections, tax returns. We
do give you zero in on those numbers, really make sure our projections are all accurate.
Accurate, yeah, because that next meeting is the delivery meeting, right? And we can only deliver our recommendations to people who are actually officially a client. Either at the end of the discovery meeting or at the end of the design meeting, we are formalizing our relationship and you are hiring us to be your financial advisors, or we are just working as a consultant to you to deliver a financial plan that you will execute on your own. But that delivery meeting is where we're going to really deliver our recommendations, again, through the lens of the bucket plan system to you. And the discovery meeting tends to be a little more conversational, 60 to 90 minutes.
Yes.
We had a great conversation yesterday. It almost went 2 hours, but it was so much fun. And
it was fun getting to know her.
Yeah. The design meeting is a little bit shorter. We're going more into the numbers and making sure that we have all the necessary information so that we can deliver recommendations to you in that delivery meeting. So again, our process is deliver, discover, design, and then deliver, right? And then from that point on, it's just about dedicated and ongoing service to you.
Yeah, which typically every client's different, but usually once a quarter or maybe a couple times a year, depending on the situation.
Absolutely. Yeah. I hope this gives you a better idea of what to expect when you come in for that design meeting and what our process looks like. Looking forward to our next episode where we're going to do a little deeper dive into what that delivery meeting looks like.
That's right.
Don't forget, hit that subscribe button to our YouTube channel, or if you're listening to us on your favorite podcast player, hit that subscribe button so you're alerted when that next new episode comes out.
Yeah, and if you guys have any questions or anything, please feel free to click on the link below this video and send us an email. We'd love to answer any questions you might have.
All right, that's it. Thanks for watching the Retirement Planning Podcast. We'll catch you next time.
See you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Retirement Planning Podcast. We hope we inspired you to make changes so you can live your best life. If you want to find out more about what we do, or you want to have a holistic wealth and health financial plan, please visit our website. Please subscribe to the podcast and share it widely with your friends and family. Financial planning and advisory services are offered through Prosperity Capital Advisors. PCA is an SEC registered investment advisor with its principal place of business in the state of Ohio. Evergreen Wealth Advisors and PCA are separate non-affiliated entities. PCA does not provide tax or legal advice. Insurance offered through Evergreen Wealth Advisors are not affiliated with PCA. Information received from this podcast should not be viewed as individual investment advice. Product discussions and illustrations are hypothetical in nature and will vary based on many factors, including but not limited to age, health, product, insurance carrier, and product design. You should consult the insurance carrier website and policy for detailed information pertaining to the registration status of PCA. Please contact the firm or refer to the Investment Advisor Public Discourse website disclosure statement as set forth on Form ADV from PCA using the contact information herein. Please read the discourse statement carefully before you invest or send money.